Hello, everyone. We have Jana Miller with us today, and Lindsay is going to ask her some questions and interview her today.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Jana, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do at Richland,
All right, good
Dallas College.
morning. Yes, Dallas College, good morning or good afternoon or good evening. My name is Jana Miller. I am an academic advisor in the Multicultural Center at Richland campus of Dallas College. And I have been working at Richland for 7 years almost in December. And I've been in the same building with the same wonderful group of people the whole time.
Awesome. What is your favorite thing about working in the Multicultural Center at Dallas College? Either
Uh,
before quarantine, probably before.
Okay,
But
yeah, we'll start with before. I would say I really love all of my coworkers, and I just love just the diverse group of students that we get to work with every day. Probably my favorite part of the job is just interacting with so many different students and faculty and staff from different countries and learning about their cultures and customs. And it's almost like you can travel to many different countries in one day just by communicating with people from different areas of the world. So that's probably my favorite. Probably my favorite activity that we ever do. As far as work goes, I would say would be International Education Week, just because we have so many great activities for the students and staff to be part of. And it's really fun bringing in food from everybody's countries. And so students are really excited when they say, oh, I get that at my country, or I eat that when I'm at home. So it's nice to bring a little bit of home to our students while they're here studying with us.
so it is really nice how we get to experience people from all over the world. Have you had any traveling experiences? Do you like to travel?
I do like to travel. At least once a year, I try to take an extended vacation and go experience some new countries. So I have been to Southeast Asia a couple ago, and then last year I had a chance to go to Europe and Africa, and then this past year, well, actually in March, right before all the COVID crazy started happening, I was actually in Peru when everything was going down in the US, and I had no idea. I was just climbing Machu Picchu and, hiking all these other mountains and going to Lake Titicaca and doing all this stuff. And then I wake up one morning, actually the morning right after Machu Picchu, and I am watching the news. But I was staying at a place at a homestay, so I was actually staying in a family's house that converted a bunch of rooms to rooms you can rent out, and I was the only person there that spoke English. And my Spanish is not great, but I know enough to get along. And so I was sitting there and she was making me my eggs for breakfast like she did every morning. And I was sitting there eating my eggs and I was watching the news and it was like, danger. And I was like, what's going on? There's like a thing scrolling across the bottom. So I got out my Google Translate and I was like typing it is as I'm watching the news and it says, the borders are going to close today at 11:59. So if you don't leave, basically plan to shelter in place for at least 15 days. So I was like, oh no,
Oh
what do I
man.
do? So luckily, and let me add that I was there by myself because I do like to travel on my own because I can do what I want when I want. If I want to change plans, I can do that without having to ask anybody or consult with other people. And so I had met a couple people earlier in my trip who I was planning on meeting up with later on that day because it was one of their birthdays. And I messaged them and I said, do you guys see what's going on in the news right now? And they're like, yes. So they just said, whatever you do, this is where we're meeting. Do whatever you have to do to get here, and then we'll figure it out all together.
Whoa.
So I'm in this small town, which is like 2 hours outside of Cusco, which is like the big city. So I grab my backpack and I run to this like center of the city. I do not advise this, people, okay? Do not do it, even though I did it. And I see like a man there standing outside of his car, and he goes, "You need to go to Cusco?" And I go, "Yep." So I get in his car. So luckily, though, two other people also got in. So, and then he drove us the 2 hours to Cusco, and I met up with my friends, and we actually ended up doing a lockdown. We found a hostel that had a restaurant and like an open courtyard, so we could still be outside. And basically, we were on military lockdown, and my flight home was canceled. All transportation was shut down, even like city buses. People couldn't drive their cars. Um, so it was pretty crazy because it was like all of a sudden, here I am, like, oh, Machu Picchu, this is wonderful. And then they're like, no, you can't leave. You can't go home. Um, and it was at this point, like actually when I was on the car ride to Cusco, I was texting Twean and Lindsay saying, guys, I think I'm going to get stuck here. They're telling me that the country's closing down. So they're like trying to give me advice. And I have other friends that are looking online to see if they can book me a flight, but they're all getting canceled or sold out. So once I came to the realization that, like, okay, this is going to be my new home for the next however many days, it was like, okay, I guess I'll just embrace it and enjoy it. So the place that I was at, there were 127 of us there. Um, but we made the best out of it. Like we did yoga classes every day, we did hit workouts, we did hill runs. So we made the most out of it. So it was like an extra little spring break. So, but I'm home. I made it home eventually.
Yay.
I made it home on one of the repatriation rescue flights from the U.S. So if not, I would still be there. I still haven't gotten on the actually flight manifest yet. I'm still waiting for my letter. And they just now opened up the country for flights to leave that are not like repatriation flights. And so I could have still been there. So I'm very thankful that I'm here and I'm talking to all of you guys. So sorry, that was a very long story.
No, that's awesome. Thank you, Jana. We're so glad that you made it back safely. And yeah, that was a wonderful text when we got it. Twean and I were like, yay, she's going to make it home.
I
Like
made
praying
the
you the whole way
flight.
home. That's right. Yes. Well, with that craziness, though, does that make you be like, ooh, I don't want to travel as much in the future? Does it make you nervous? Or are you like, can't wait for the next adventure?
Um, it doesn't, I mean, it's not going to deter me from traveling because, I mean, stuff happens, and I don't really think that you can like hold back from enjoying things in the future. Of course, I'm going to do it responsibly. I don't plan on going overseas now because who knows if I can come back. Like, I mean, I would love to be traveling over Christmas or, my annual spring break trip, but I don't think that's going to be happening this year. But once it is safe to travel, I'm going to get right back in it. It's just more experiences to add. And I mean, it's a cool story now. While it was happening, it probably wasn't the best story, but now I can look back at it and say, you know what, I was able to handle being locked in another country and without being able to leave. And I gained a good experience, and I actually met a girl there that lives in Irving. So she lives 30 minutes from me, and we just happened to meet in this hostel, and now we're really great friends. So at least I made a good friend out of it. And um, so just because there was one like little damper on one traveling trip, it's not going to stop me from continuing to go and seeing more of the world and experiences. And there's so many other countries out there that I have yet to learn about. And that's one of the best things about traveling is like learning different cultures and customs and eating the food. And there's just way too much food out there for me to eat to stop.
That's awesome. Yeah. What's your favorite food that you've had, or maybe the top favorites? Because there's so many.
There are so many. So I'm gonna start with number one is Vietnamese street food. Like I can eat that all day. Um, so yes, Vietnamese street food, number one. Ooh. And then I would have to say the gyros from Greece are also like way up there, especially if they add those French fries. Like, give me those all day. So those are probably my ones, I would say.
Hmm.
But really give me all the food.
All the food. Yeah.
All the food.
Why limit yourself? Just keep trying it all.
Exactly.
Yes. And now you've not only just traveled like for vacation and fun, but you also have some experience with being an international student, right?
Yes. So actually, when I was in my third year of college, I was an F1 student. So studied in Australia. I chose Australia because I didn't have to learn another language. They speak Australian and English, so I picked up Australian pretty easy. Um, but yeah, I chose Australia so I didn't have to learn another language. So I guess, unlike our students, I took the easy way out. So I'm very proud of you guys, and I know how hard it is to try to learn a new language. Um, and even like studying in a new language. If somebody told me right now, like, read this book in Spanish and write a summary about it, I would think that you're crazy. Like, no way. So, you guys are very resilient in being able to learn a new language, not just being able to speak and communicate, but academically is a huge obstacle and feat that you guys are able to do. So I'm proud of you. It's something that I wasn't able to do when I was in college, so y'all do it for me.
That's right. They're like examples to us because it's not easy. Going to another country, learning another language is truly amazing what you guys are doing, students. We think y'all are awesome. So, what do you think is like some good advice for people when they're in another country, they're still getting used to a language or don't feel like they know much at all? Like, what's some good things to do to interact with others or to prepare, or what would you say?
One, always do your research before you go somewhere you've never been. That's probably the number one thing you could probably do. Another thing, Google Translate. Like that is the one of the best inventions ever, especially because talking to Google Translate and then it translates into the other language for you. So um, that's one of the things you should start out doing. Of course, don't always revert back to that. Actually, learn the language of wherever you decide to go. I think that's really helpful. Be open-minded, I think, is a really big thing. If you don't understand something about like a new culture or a new situation, don't automatically brush it off as being just because you don't understand it. It may not be good or bad. Um, Maybe learn about stuff that you don't understand. Um, be open to eating weird things. I mean, it may seem weird to you, but whole other countries have been eating this forever. So even if it sounds weird, it's not weird to everybody, just to you. Um, let's see. Be willing to talk to people that are different than you. I met so many great people traveling, and sorry, there's a dump truck. Trash truck is going by. Sorry, guys. Um, so yeah, can you still hear me at least?
We can
Okay.
still hear you. Just live action.
All right. But yeah, don't be afraid to talk to people that are different than you, that think different, believe different. Um, and one thing is, I know that some people think that, okay, they don't understand me, they don't speak my language, so I can't communicate with them. But there's other ways you can communicate, like your body language, smile, wave. I mean, I guess right now you can't smile at people because they don't know. I mean, I guess you can still smile with your eyes when you have your mask on. Um, so those are things like the main thing is just be open, be willing to learn about the culture that you're in, embrace it. If you don't agree with it, that's great, but you don't have to voice maybe that you disagree with what people are doing. So I guess those are my main things.
Yeah. Awesome. Definitely being respectful. And I agree. Questions are great. There's so much we can learn when we ask questions and experience more of. And at least for us as advisors, we love it when people ask questions. it's it's so much better. It's always good to ask. And if you don't want to ask others, you can always come to us. So
Yes, and
yeah.
no question is like stupid to ask, or I would say not all questions are off limits, but like most questions are not off limits. So, like if you feel silly asking about something, just ask. And like usually a lot of people, like Lindsay and I know a lot of the instructors, like if it's an inappropriate question, you may not know that because of the cultural differences. And so we can at least be like, oh, thank you for asking this, but really maybe you should word it a different way or ask it a different way. So yeah, that's the big thing, questions. Even if they do sound silly or you're like, they're going to think I'm weird because I'm asking this question. So I do ask weird questions. So I'm right there with you guys.
So you can ask weird questions back if they ask you a
Right,
weird question. Yeah. So
right.
just keep it good. Awesome. Is there okay, so you say ask questions. What else would you want students to know about like an advisor? How advisors or teachers or life? Any good advice you have as an advisor?
Oh, goodness, Lindsay.
You knew I was going to do that one, right, Jana?
Yeah, you're going to be cheesy.
Yeah, you got to.
Okay, so some advice from an advisor to students. Um, let's see. Be prepared. Read your emails. Please respond to your emails. Um, we're not scary people at all. Like, I think a lot of people are, and it could be a cultural thing, like a respect thing, because we're somebody in like authority, but we're approachable people. So don't be scared or intimidated to approach us or ask questions. Um, but yeah, read your email, be prepared. When it comes to registering for classes, do stuff early. Like, yeah, you don't have to wait until the last day of registration to register. Register on the first day, register on the 14th day. Just don't register on the last day. Um, please. I'm begging
Yes,
you.
please.
Let's see. Be prepared um, is a good thing. Be on time. Like, for me, being on time is a sign of respect. And so a lot of my coworkers like make fun of me if they're like, Jana, it's okay, it's only 2 minutes late. I was like, but that's 2 minutes, you know? Um, so I think that being on time is a sign of respect. And to me, you're not displaying that your time is more important than my time. Because again, time is the one thing that you can never get back. So that's a big thing. Yeah, be prepared, read your emails, respond, register early, ask questions. Teachers and advisors are humans. We love you guys. We're not
Yeah.
doing this for the paycheck. Because if we were doing it for the paycheck, we'd probably work somewhere else. So, but we are doing it because we really do love our students. We love this like particular population of students just because we learn so much and our days are really enriched by learning about you, learning about your cultures. So, yeah, communication. Like talk
Yeah.
to us. We want to talk to you.
Yes, so true. There are many times we'll be like, oh, it's just so nice to get an email from a student just to hear how they're doing, or if they have questions, we love it. That's
Mm,
what, otherwise, sometimes you can just feel like you're just sitting, right? Waiting for someone. So, yeah. Okay. Well, this is November, right? So we're getting close to Thanksgiving. Do you have some things you're thankful for, Jana?
let's see. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for all of you.
Yes.
I am very lucky and thankful and blessed to work with a wonderful group of people, both in the MC and all of our ESOL teachers and everybody in the our whole clan is wonderful. So I'm very thankful for the group of people that I get to work with every day. I'm a little bummed that I don't get to see everybody right now because we do have such a great like relationship and good. Um, we can celebrate together and we work really hard together. So it's just a really great community to be a part of. And so I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful for Mo, my dog. He's hanging out here with me. I'm thankful for my family, that everybody's, you know, with everything going on right now, everybody's healthy and safe and still working. So um, those are all things. What about you?
Yes, I agree. I am very, very thankful for all of you guys. I I'm thankful to be a part of an amazing work family and also to get to be connected to students like you guys. Y'all really do bless and enrich our lives. We are grateful for you guys. So, yeah, I'm very, very thankful for all of the wonderful people in my life and just for yeah, God's goodness and that we are making it through this year. Staying thankful is definitely I think important and also having people to talk to when you're when you're struggling or when you're a little bit sad. That's a blessing to be able to reach out. So you guys can always reach out to us. We are definitely here for you guys and we would be thankful. We want to hear from you for sure and would be glad to talk. So yes, and I'm also thankful for Jana's awesome jokes. I don't know if you guys know that Jana has great jokes. So, that's a helpful one, Jana. Today, what is a good joke you would like to share with somebody? All of our students, all of our staff, faculty. Oh, at the moment though, it's a silent.
Sorry, I silenced my microphone because my dog started barking again.
We might have to see Mo sometime, hopefully.
I'll try to invite him
Okay.
over here in a little while.
Okay.
Okay, so a good joke. Oh man, what was the one I told you the other day? Let me see if I can remember this because it was really good. Um, it was about a pig.
Yep. I remember it.
Do you remember? Okay, maybe you should
Yeah.
tell it for me.
Oh, no, I don't remember all I remember the answer. I don't know exactly how you asked it. This
All
is
right.
this is a
While
great
while
joke so
I'm
far, guys.
thinking, while I'm
Build it up.
thinking, Matthew, why don't you tell us the joke?
Yes.
I'm the worst at joke telling. I have like dad jokes, but they just come in the moment and they're super lame because they're dad jokes. But I
Those are
get a
some
lot
of the
of
best kind.
Those
courtesy
are the best
laughs at
kind.
my house. Elizabeth, you have a joke about people with no arms and legs. It's kind of offensive.
Oh yeah,
You
Bob.
know it? Yeah.
There's a lot
Just
of
gave
those.
away the joke.
Sorry, no, but there's a lot of those jokes.
What about Bob?
That's Bob, right? Okay. What do you call a guy with no arms and no legs in a pool? Bob.
Bob.
Yeah.
No, but there's a bunch of those.
Oh, poor Bob.
What do you call a guy with no arms and no legs in a ditch?
Still Bob?
Phil.
Oh gosh.
Oh man.
My wife's sense of humor is fairly graphic, and she loves to watch people hurt themselves. Which is
lady with one arm and one leg.
What do you call a lady with one arm and one leg? Eileen.
Oh my goodness, Eileen.
All right, we'll stop there. Have you thought of your joke, Jana?
Yes, yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
good.
Okay.
Okay. Back
So,
to you.
sorry. So, what do you get when you pick a pig's nose?
I don't know. What do you get, Jana?
Hamburgers. I know. It's not funny. I have one more. It's really great. Sorry, last one. So what's the difference? You might like this one, Matthew. What's the difference between boogers and broccoli?
I don't know, Jana. What's the difference?
Kids don't eat broccoli.
Oh man, that is so true, right, Oliver?
Do
eat
you
your
like
boogers?
broccoli, Oliver?
No, he
You
doesn't.
eating
You're right.
broccoli right now.
I think it's a chip or something he found on the ground.
Oh, nice.
Those are the best
Hopefully.
snacks, the ground snacks.
Mhm. The ground snacks. Well, I think we know the answer to this one, Jana, but as the important question we saw last news cycle, are you a cat or a dog person?
I am definitely a dog person. Mo. Oh, he's chasing a lizard right now. So
Okay.
I have a dog. His name is Mo.
So you can see him.
He's trying to get that lizard
Hello.
over there, if you guys can see him.
Go Mo.
He's silly. He's a little camera shy. He gets it from me.
Yeah, I could see that. And how did you get Mo?
So Mo was a rescue. I found an organization online called I forgot what it's called now, but I found an organization online where they had rescues that were like being fostered in people's homes, and they're like, "Oh, you should come out and meet Mo." So I came out and I met him, and as soon as I sat down on the park bench, he just came and sat on my lap. So I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm gonna take you home." And so that was like 4 or 5 years ago. So
Uh,
yeah,
Yay. Yes, he's fun to see or hear in the background periodically, for
yeah, and he
sure.
has a very bark, but he's a big scaredy cat. So Amy's met him. Oh, and so have you, Lindsay. You've met him too.
Let him do. Yeah. So he looks fierce, but maybe doesn't act as fierce.
That's
That's
right.
okay though.
He's in a good alarm system, but not a security system.
There you go. Okay, so we know that you're an advisor, but if money was not a reason to work, like if you had all the money in the world or you didn't need money, what would you want to do? Like what, yeah, would it change anything or?
You know what would be kind of cool to be a person that goes and rates hotels all over the world. Like, I would do that. Like, oh, please stay here and then write a review about your stay. How great would that be? Like, so yeah, I just thought of that just now. So I think
Just
that's
now.
my dream job as of right now.
New dream job.
You get
Yes.
paid to travel and test hotels or hostels
Yeah, or both.
or Airbnbs or palaces too.
Also the
I'm okay with that.
palaces. And the homestays. You can just do rate all for the different types of travelers. You can let
Yes.
the hotel people know, the hostel people know, the palace people know.
Mhm.
Yes.
And then I might want to be like a news anchor. I feel like I could do that.
I mean, guys,
Right?
don't you think she's doing a great job right now?
You're
I
doing
think so.
awesome. Yeah,
You can
I was
take
just
our
gonna say,
jobs,
yep.
our
She's our
fake
new.
jobs.
Right? Or you guys both do great at your fake jobs and your real jobs too.
The real job.
What about you guys? What would you guys do?
Hmm. I mean,
I would love to continue seeing different cultures like come together. So I always had this dream of, like, taking groups from one country to another country, like for missions or for a trip, like just to kind of introduce people. So like being like a tour guide maybe, but like literally like taking people from one country to another, learning customs and teaching people about different things. I think that would be a lot of fun.
that's awesome.
How about
Um,
you, Angie?
I was about to say, I feel like we have a lot of similarities because I definitely think it would be nice to get to travel all over and meet different people and experience their cultures and their countries and their homes. And hey, and there's Mo. Look, he made it on camera. Good job, Mo. Working past the fear. There you go. Yeah, but definitely I think that would be awesome. It's just to get to travel a lot. And so if money is not an object and you could travel a long time and just go and learn from people and things like that, I think I would. I would love something like that. So apparently we need to start a business or find a sponsor. Yeah. And then we can take you guys with us, students. Yeah, or you can show us about your home.
Yeah, we can go to our students'
Yeah,
places, right?
and learn. Then you guys are the teachers and we are the students. Yeah.
Sounds like-
Yeah. How about you, Matthew?
Um, I think I would piggyback off of my wife's dream of like owning a coffee shop.
Oh,
But I would want like some like a workshop or like a wood shop or something where I could do those kind of things. She can do
Cool.
the coffee shop half. Um, Yeah. And I would want it to be in this neighborhood where there's a lot of refugees and internationals, and we like serve not just like American style frappuccinos, but like coffee from around the world, like Turkish coffee
Yes.
or Thai tea or Vietnamese style coffee, things like that.
Nice.
Wow. We would definitely visit that, Matthew. That
Yeah.
sounds awesome.
Yes. Let us know once you get started with that. We'll go. We'll support you.
Yeah, I mean, after I win the lottery, that's where all the money's going. So
Yeah. Are you playing the lottery a lot these days?
no, not at all. So
Yeah. So, you know.
it's
So
almost as likely as people who play the lottery that I'm gonna win.
Right.
Our odds are
very
about
true.
the
So true. Okay. Well, we're going into more of the holiday season, Jana. Do you have a favorite holiday or a favorite holiday tradition that you want to share with us?
Let's see. I do love Christmas. I think Christmas is my favorite. Um, let's see what would be a favorite tradition. So Christmas Eve, my grandmother always makes oyster stew, which is really weird, and I don't know where that came from, but every Christmas Eve we have oyster stew and like just appetizers, and then we used to go to the midnight church service like as a whole family. But then I come from like a really small town, and so they stopped doing the midnight service because I guess not enough people were going. So now we still go to like a Christmas Eve service. So oyster stew, then church service, and then all the kids. I'm still considered a kid. We all get to open one gift on Christmas Eve, and usually it's pajamas so we can all match. And then you know, go to bed early so we could wake up early and get all the gifts. And so now it's fun because I have lots of nieces and nephews, so it's really fun watching them being able to like open up their gifts and just be able to spend time with family because like none of my family really lives in Texas, so it's really nice to be able to travel and go home and see my family. So yeah.
Awesome. Yay. Okay. Well, do you guys, Matthew and Amy, do y'all have any questions for Miss Jana?
Do you have any interesting cultural, maybe miscommunications or interesting situations that you've experienced overseas or with your students? I know with a bunch of different cultures, sometimes it's and varying levels of English or whatever language that you're speaking overseas. You might have some miscommunications or things. Do you have any funny story?
Um, I do, yes. uh, but so it's really hard when you go to another country, especially if like you've been traveling between countries, that there's different currency. Like specifically in all around Asia, there's different currency in each country that you go to. So it's really hard for me to like learn like without looking at like a coin, oh, this is worth five, whatever the currency is. So there were a couple times, like when I was in Vietnam, when I would go and pay, and there would be like a line of people behind me. And so I didn't want to be like, oh, I don't want to hold everybody up. And so when they would ask for, to pay for coffee, I don't know the currency. So I'd literally like just like I would hold out all my money and say, okay, pick however much you think you need. And that would be it. So money has been like currency has been a hard thing for me. Um, Trying to get a taxi or an Uber in an airport at 2 a.m. in a different country is a little bit difficult. And then you just kind of communicate through Google Translate. So that really has been my saving grace. So I haven't had a ton of communication issues because of Google Translate. And I've gotten really good at like talking with my hands. So that's super helpful. Um, let's see. I did get sick once when I was in Thailand, and so I had to go to the pharmacy because I had like a really terrible cough and cold. And so I literally just like went to the pharmacist and said, I'm sick and I have a cough. And so he handed me all this medicine and it was all in Thai. And I was just using my good faith that he was giving me stuff that wasn't going to kill me. So I just took it. I'm here. So I guess it worked. But it's just like little things like that. but nothing like concerning has happened or miscommunication where I did actually miss I missed getting off a train once somewhere in Europe, in Belgium, because all the signs were in a different language. And I don't even know what language they were in, to be quite honest, because I traveled like the whole length of Europe. And so who knows what language it was in. And I missed a stop. And then so I got off the train. And then I was like, well, I'll just walk to the next station. But I ended up getting on another wrong train. And this was before there were cell phones. So I didn't have a cell phone with me. And so I took like 4 trains and eventually made it to my destination. And so ask for help if you need it. I didn't ask because I was like, I can figure this out on my own. So ask for help if you're lost in a different country and you don't speak the language. So
Okay, I know this isn't going to be on it even though it's recording, but I'm now curious. I had a question. Jana, what's your life motto?
Oh,
living La
you
Vida Loca.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There we go. Living La Vida Loca.
What's your life motto, Lindsay?
Yeah.
I know.
Is that something that everyone has that I don't have?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
well, because there was a question about what would your warning label be? And so Jana
Oh.
already told me her warning label, so I wanted to know what her life motto was.
Oh, can you
Would you
share
like?
the warning label
Yes,
or?
please share the warning
Yeah.
label, Jana.
Mine would be a blunt object. Because sometimes I have a hard time, sugarcoating things. So,
Mm.
So, yeah.
yep. What are y'all's mottos?
I know. Mottos.
Not living La Vida Loca? I mean, come on.